Welcome back, and to episode 8 in our series, this time featuring two of the most attractive loco liveries yet. Starting with the elegant D11, or more properly Great Central 11F Class 440. This model, by Bachmann, catalogue number 31147, arrived with me in 2017. The D11s were an improvement on Robinson's already successful D10 or Director class, and became known as improved Directors. 6 were ordered in 1922 and proved very successful indeed. At grouping, the LNER was in dire need of express locomotives, and while Gresley was in charge, he decided to build more D11s, and so 24 more were delivered during 1924. The last D11 was withdrawn in 1962, but the prototype number 506 Butler Henderson was preserved, making it the only surviving Great Central passenger locomotive. Number 506 was withdrawn in 1960 and restored to static Great Central Railway condition for display at the British Transport Commission Museum at Clapham. With the demise of that museum in 1975, number 506 entered the National Collection. Number 501 here was built in September 1922 and scrapped in May 1959, and was named Mons after the World War I Battle of Mons. In many ways this model only just fits into our Era 2 timeframe. These locos had 6-foot 9-inch driving wheels that made them very fast, but not that suitable for goods work. Now Great Central coaches appear to be cream and brown, so I hope these coaches look the part behind this loco. The model came with etched name and number plates, but the painted versions seem so good that I've not felt the need to replace them. She also came with front bogie side valances, but these stop her going around curves, at least my curves, and so are left off. She seems to have a very unhurried look about her. Perhaps the disappearance of the coupling rods behind the splashers is the reason for this. Now we come on to the wonderful Southeastern and Chatham H Class tank. The model by Hornby arrived in November 2017 and was something of a problem from the start. Overheating and poor running and binding bogie wheels. I eventually found that the top plastic cover on the motor and over the worm was too tight to the worm, causing it to bind. I dealt with this in a video about my BR Black H Class that you can click top right now and find in the links section below. The binding bogie wheels were fixed by installing a thin washer between the underside of the chassis and the bogie. This puts just enough pressure on the bogie to keep the wheels turning, while also putting more weight onto the drivers, which is very helpful. Photo on your screen just now. I'm aware via the forums that the capacitor fitted on top of the motor on some of these also causes problems and shorts out. Now let's get back to enjoying this lovely loco. She's hauling some lovely Bachmann Southeastern and Chatham Railway birdcage coaches. I think on a trip to Brighton for a special working later on. Designed by Harry Wainwright in 1904, most of the 66 Class H locos were later equipped for push-pull working for use on rural branch lines. The first 7 locomotives were built at Ashford Works in November and December 1904. The design was soon found to be successful, so that 64 were built at Ashford between 1904 and 1909. Following Wainwright's retirement, Richard Maunsell discovered that 66 had been ordered and their components had been built but not erected earlier. Therefore, a further 2 were erected in 1915. The majority of the class replaced Q-class locomotives on the London suburban services of the Southeastern and Chatham Railway and remained on these duties until they entered the Southern Railway stock in 1923. They began to be displaced by electrification on these lines in 1925 and 26, when they began to be used on stopping trains further afield in the eastern section of the Southern Railway in Kent. After 1929 they also began to be used on the central section, where they replaced withdrawn D3 class locomotives. Between 1941 and 52, 2 and later 3 examples were loaned to the western section and worked from Nine Elms on local shunting and empty stock work. During 1943 and 44, 3 examples were loaned to the LMS at Forfar. One H class is preserved on the Bluebell Railway. Here, a photo I took of her back in June 2019. Note also the bird flying through, photobombing the loco. Number 308 here was new in June 1906 and withdrawn as 31308 by BR in December 1962. Okay, that's it. Cheers for now. Oh, let's have a combined running session to finish off with.